Ever wondered what the real cost of convenience is in our digital world? Tim Jensen, host of Intentionally Inconvenient, dares to question if convenience is truly the enemy of privacy. You'll explore the essence of privacy, why it's worth pursuing, and debunk the myth that it's a lost cause. Together, you will challenge the notion of, I have nothing to hide, and reveal why every bit of your information matters. Remember, all hope is not lost. It's time to reclaim your privacy in this intentionally inconvenient reality.
Hello and welcome to Intentionally Inconvenient, where we talk about personal freedom through securing your privacy. My name is Tim Jensen. I'm your host. In our last episode, we covered the next step in our privacy bootcamp, which is Level 1 Passwords and Password Managers. In this episode, we will be covering why you should use a VPN, which is also known as a virtual private network. So a virtual private network is like a network within a network, such as the internet, to connect remote sites or users together. If you work remotely, like in my job, I work at home sometimes and I work at an office sometimes, but you're not at a facility that's controlled by the company that you work for, like if you work from home. Your company may install a VPN on any company-issued equipment, such as your phone or your computer or a tablet or that kind of thing. And in this way, all of your internet traffic would kind of go like this. You would have from your company-issued computer, it would go to your ISP or your internet service provider. It would go over the internet from there to your company or where your VPN for your company is hosted. It would go through their VPN and then out from there. What this does is it allows you to access your company's intranet as though you were physically located at your company, at a building that your company controls. If you subscribe to a VPN service, the route is run a little differently. So this goes from your computer to the VPN software inside your computer and then out to your internet service provider, your ISP, before it goes out to the internet. What the VPN software does then is to tell your internet service provider, your ISP, what the IP address is that the VPN is assigning you rather than your actual IP of your computer. Now, holy cow, that's a lot of acronyms. So again, IP address, the internet protocol address, and then an ISP is your internet service provider, the service that provides internet access to you. So an IP address, there's a good definition on Kaspersky.com, which I'll link in the show notes. One of the things that they say is that an IP address is an identifier. It identifies the specific device, serial number for instance, and it also identifies the location of that device. And it makes that device accessible for communication. So IP addresses are assigned to each device by a central authority. Here's more acronyms. The Internet Assigned Numbers Authority, which is also known as IANA. So IANA is a division of the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, which is also known as ICANN. There's a lot of detail there, and a lot of this stuff you're going to want to do a little bit of research on the internet. The reason why I'm saying this is that there is a central authority that governs internet protocol or IP addresses, and assigns each device and each website and so forth a different IP address so you can identify it as that particular device. So why is this important? An IP address is an identifying piece of information. What the VPN does then is it obfuscates or it hides your device's true IP address. It creates an IP alias, so to speak. It prevents others from correctly identifying you or the machine that you're using or your location, or all three of those. And it essentially separates that information from your online activity. So why is that important? Because it's nobody's business who you are and what you're doing on the internet. It's not the ISP's business. It's not the website that you visit's business. It's not hackers and identity thieves' business. By using a VPN or virtual private network, you are in essence transferring your trust from your internet service provider to your VPN provider, about the IP address that you're using and the websites that you visit. In a minute, you'll understand why that is important. So, a couple of things. What a VPN is not. Okay, because a lot of people and a lot of advertisers, a lot of VPN companies, they like to tell you that their VPN will make you anonymous or whatever. Let me tell you a couple of things about VPNs and what they're not. VPNs are not illegal in most countries, which means they are legal in most countries if you're using that double negative. There are some exceptions. I found 10 of them. China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, Iraq, United Arab Emirates or UAE, Oman, Belarus, Turkey, and Turkmenistan. So those 10 countries, a VPN is actually illegal to use, and so if you're traveling to those countries, you need to be aware of that, because there can be some penalties of financial or even imprisonment if you use a VPN in one of those countries. So VPNs are not only used. Here's another. What VPNs are not. VPNs are not used by shady characters all the time or paranoid people who wear tinfoil hats. They're used by everyday people, and they're used by everyday people who are conscious about their privacy. VPNs are not going to keep you anonymous on the internet. You're not going to be anonymous. Anonymity in this society is a myth. No matter what VPN companies may advertise, you will not remain anonymous using a VPN, ever. You're not going to be anonymous. It's that simple. Your IP address, the next step. Almost all VPNs absolutely will keep a log of your IP address, your browsing history, your connection history. However, there is an exception. There's a few exceptions. The one that I use, and you've heard me speak of this company before, Proton. Proton is based in Switzerland, meaning that they are governed by Swiss jurisdiction, not the European Union, not the United States, not the Five Eyes or the Nine Eyes or the 14 Eyes or any of those, not NATO. They're governed by Swiss law. Many countries that use VPNs require VPN companies to keep a log if they're based in that country. A log may be your IP address, maybe the IP address of your device, the location, that kind of stuff. Not so with Proton VPN. Swiss companies cannot share information directly with foreign law enforcement under criminal penalties. They're not obligated to do so, and they won't. Strong privacy protections. Switzerland has strict data protection laws that prevent the Swiss government from forcing VPN services to log user activities. So many of you know that Switzerland has some of the strictest privacy laws in the world. Proton is the only VPN company that I know of that not only keeps no logs, but they have third-party auditors audit them. They've always passed these audits, and they publish the audits, so you can actually inspect the audits. You can look and see what's going on. So no logs means that even if a government were to force them to turn over logs, there would be nothing that they could turn over to any government. There's nothing. We don't keep logs, so we have nothing to give you. So once again, they're audited. They're open source VPN, which means you can actually go in and ask to see the source code. You can go and see the source code. If you're a programmer, you can see that they're keeping no logs. They publish their audit of no logs. They have an ad blocker. They have a malware blocker. They have this thing called a VPN accelerator, which is up to 400% faster than other VPNs. It just depends on which VPN we're talking about. There's over 2,600 servers for the VPNs, which means IP addresses, in 69 different countries. So you could actually choose a VPN server that's in a country in Asia or Europe or Canada or South America or whatever. So here's what I suggest you do. Go right now to goclick.me/ProtonVPN. That's goclick.me/ProtonVPN. Goclick.me/ProtonVPN. As of this recording, and today is November 18th, 2024, you can get up to 70% off of Proton VPN's price during their Black Friday sale. So go ahead, pause the video right now and go to goclick.me/ProtonVPN and get subscribed right now to Proton VPN. So one more time, that's goclick.me/ProtonVPN. You'll really be glad you did. So something else that you should avoid, and that's free VPNs. Seriously, a free VPN. How can a company provide a free VPN and make money? Well, think about it. They're probably selling your data. They're more than likely they're advertising to you. Remember, if the product is free, you are the product. You really don't want to be using a free VPN any more than you want to use free email. Another thing that VPNs are not all the same. Look for a user experience. You can see it on our website. You can see if they're easy to install, if they're easy to use. If they're very difficult, you may not want to use that. If they're not easy to install, if they're not easy to use. Customer service matters, which, by the way, again, kind of goes against the whole free VPN concept. You want to be able to pay for it, so you've got something as far in the way of customer service that will matter to you. We've all had good and bad customer service experiences, and VPNs are no different. You'll also need a VPN that has simultaneous connections. So how many people in your household are using the internet simultaneously at the same time? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 6? You want to have a VPN that has multiple internet connections at the same time. Another thing to look for is to be careful of any reviews, because like we've seen with Amazon, like we've seen even with other auction sites like eBay, there's a potential for authentic and inauthentic reviews. I will make no hesitation in saying that when I advertise a product or service, I do get a small commission if you buy something. That's how we can keep this on this podcast going, this YouTube channel going. So if you were to go to goclick.me/ProtonVPN and you made a purchase, I would get a small commission, but it would be the same price if you bought it from anywhere else. They don't change the prices just because they pay commissions, because that's their cost of advertising. So keep that in mind, that sometimes you'll see reviews of people that are biased, and I'm very biased with Proton VPN, but that's because of my experience. My user experience has been tremendous with it. I've never had a problem with them. So keep that in mind, that reviews, you have to kind of read between the lines on some case, whether they're authentic or inauthentic. The last thing I'll mention, a VPN is not a fad. They're going to be here for a long time because they serve a valuable purpose of keeping people away from being identified. So, to summarize, a VPN is just one link in the internet chain of privacy, but VPNs serve a very essential purpose. With privacy laws the way they are in the United States, it can be a really good idea to use a VPN service that helps you to keep you being identified by your IP address and the equipment that you're using. So, that's all for now. That's all for this episode on Intentionally Inconvenient. And in our next episode, we're going to discuss a part of maintaining your privacy that, while it's still a first level, basic, fundamental part of your privacy, this link can be the most important chain in the link of your privacy. In some cases, and this is going to sound really dramatic, but there's a lot of truth to it, it can be the difference between life and death. What is it? It's instant messengers, or just messengers, they're called these days. And we'll discuss messengers at length, and why they're a vital connection in your privacy, and what types of messengers you should be looking for. So until next time, this is Tim Jensen reminding you to stay safe and stay private. Thanks for listening.
That's all for now from Intentionally Inconvenient, leaving you with a challenge to question the cost of online convenience. If you want to keep learning, subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Your reviews and 5-star ratings help reach more listeners. Until next time, remember, your privacy is never a lost cause. Stay safe, stay private.